Let's welcome 2nd District Congressman out of South Carolina, Joe Wilson. Congressman, thanks for coming back to the Means Report.
Brad, it's an honor to be with you, and indeed what a week this was. And I'm just so grateful that the weather patterns that could have been so disastrous certainly put a challenge, and now we can celebrate the Masters, which brings worldwide attention to CSRA. And so it's a real honor for me to represent with Congressman Rick Allen such positive communities.
Well, you know, it's tough to knock the Masters out of the local headlines, but what is happening in our world certainly has done that. Let's talk with the situation in Syria, where as of the taping of this broadcast Friday, it's just been revealed that the United States launched airstrikes against airfields in Syria. My question to you, and just to update the viewers, this was in response to Syria's use of chemical weapons against its own people. Does the destruction of a few airfields make a difference to these people? Can they be deterred?
Absolutely. This shows that we have a president who will respond. He understood the consequence of war crimes, that is chemical and biological attacks on persons within a country. It really puts the American people at risk, the entire world at risk. And I'm so proud of the leadership of President Donald Trump to recognize this and then immediately to respond in a very precise way. And that is to attack the base from which the chemicals were delivered. And the message is that there should be no other bases that could possibly be identified as having chemical weapons, and or they will be attacked.
Do you trust our intelligence to know of potential other bases?
I do, and the capabilities we have are better every day. And this, sadly, you connect the dots of where an attack occurs and then where the aircraft return. And so this is something, it's really just so reasonable but again, so courageous of the president and ultimately will save a lot of lives.
Well, you know, you are starting to see in the hours after this attack a bit of a domino effect. At last check, a Russian ship was heading out in the directions where our ships were stationed. What does this mean as far as the U.S.-Russian relationship? If they're coming at us now as an ally potentially with Iran against us, against this Syrian airstrike, what's this do to the conjecture that there was collusion in the election? We're definitely not friends now, I guess.
Oh, hey, and this is sad to me. The collusion of the Russians is so utterly contrived. And people should understand the very first speech that our UN ambassador Nikki Haley made to the UN was to reprimand Russia for its involvement in Ukraine, where 10,000 people have died, to reprimand Russia for aggression in the Republic of Georgia and South Ossetia and Abkhazia, and over and over to reprimand Russia for its buzzing of American aircraft and American ships. And so any indication that there was a active involvement in the election, I sincerely believe is just not accurate. Very happy to have an investigation. And I'm very grateful that we have Senator Richard Burr of North Carolina, who will be leading the Senate Intelligence Committee to look into this. And now I'm very grateful that Congressman Trey Gowdy, along with Congressman Mike Conaway, are going to be leading the effort on the House side to look into any allegations. But these allegations are, I sincerely believe, are just sour grapes.
Well, big picture, we bomb Syria. Russia doesn't like it. Is it to anyone's benefit to have an adversarial relationship between those two superpowers? Neither leader will back down.
No, and we don't need an adversarial. In fact, sadly to me, also this week, so many things occurred. Who would imagine that there were the bombings of the subway in St. Petersburg, Russia, that I've been to, and it just breaks your heart, the thought of the loss of life there. And it's always been disappointing to me that Mr. Putin didn't and doesn't apparently see that we're all threatened by Islamic terrorists, and so we should be working together more than ever, and this should be positive of opposing terrorists who have a shared interest of killing Americans and killing Russians.
Let's talk about the situation in North Korea. They, of late, have been doing their own saber rattling, testing missiles, testing their capabilities. We don't want them to put nuclear warheads on those missiles ever. And so there's the tension between the U.S. and North Korea there. And then you have this Syrian situation that we've just taken the offensive on, if you will. What's that do when it comes to the situation with North Korea? North Korea's lone ally, it looks like, is China. China's president just met with Trump. Do you think this sends a message to China? Hey, tell your friend North Korea we're serious.
Absolutely. And I'm one of two members of Congress who have actually been to Pyongyang, North Korea. And Brad, it would break your heart. These
is it third world?
It's beyond. It's a Potemkin village. It's not real. Everything I saw was staged, whether it be vehicles on the street that were not real,
wow.
People walking on the street. They were staged and planned. Bottom line, it is a destitute country of people of starvation, except that the dictator, Kim Jong-un, is doing all he can to stay in power, which is the tradition of his dad and his grandfather, who was installed by Joseph Stalin. And so this is, since 1948, a dictatorship that has oppressed the people of that country. And at the same time, they've made real progress, sadly, on miniaturization of nuclear-capable weapons, warheads, and they've also made remarkable and horrible progress on developing an ICBM to be able to hit the United States. And this has really been proven, and that's why we had a resolution this week by launching a satellite. They've actually launched a satellite, a country of destitution. And what's occurred is that this puts them in a situation of developing an ICBM to hit the west coast of the United States. And we've got to act. And I introduced this resolution, and almost every week something has occurred that underscores why the resolution was important. I'm very grateful it was bipartisan.
I wanted you to talk about that.
Yes.
398 to 3,
yes.
Overwhelming support. Tell us about what you introduced.
Well, it was to condemn the development of nuclear weapons and ICBMs by North Korea, to call for additional sanctions, and to call on China to step in, because, as my view, this really should be a threat to Beijing.
Do you get the sense that they will step in and say, settle down, North Korea?
Not really, but we're never going to give up. And because it's not in the interest of China, which is a developing country which certainly sees the benefit of trade, understatement, with the world. And there's nothing to trade in North Korea except criminal enterprises. And but it puts the people of South Korea at such risk, and puts America at such risk. And then only in the last 2 weeks, something that is absolutely horrific is that there was a video that was released from North Korea indicating a successful strike and destruction of an American aircraft carrier, with the rejoicing over the killing, the mass killing of American citizens. So if there's any perception that this could be misunderstood, no, it's not. And then another danger is there is collusion with the regime in Tehran. And so Iran and North Korea, and now sadly, of course, Iran has billions of dollars that they can funnel to in cash to North Korea, and then together they can be working to build nuclear capability, enhance their ICBM capability, and American families are at risk.
Are we capable of taking away those countries' capabilities of hurting people, their nuclear capabilities, their launch capabilities? Because they'll never, as we've discussed, give up. So as we keep trying, can we blast by blast, maneuver by maneuver, make them powerless?
My view is, and I'm very grateful that Secretary of State Rex Tillerson has indicated that every potential option is on the table. It would be my view that we need to look at every potential option because the city of Seoul, Korea itself is within artillery range of North Korea. 26 million people are at risk of virtual immediate attack with chemical and biological capability. And so all the options need to be in place. But obviously what the President wants to do and what Congress voted this week is to truly implement sanctions that would stop North Korea. And ways to do this can be to find the banking assets of the dictatorship and the small clique of people who run that country, and freeze their assets wherever they are in the world. And this can be done and should be done.
Is this what the beginning of World War III feels like?
Well, I'm concerned in this regard, and I'm sorry you even brought it up, and that is that I do feel like we're having some elements of 1939, and that is that there was aggression at that time by Nazi Germany and Soviet Russia, and that then led to consequences, and also this, we can relate maybe back to 1917. This Thursday was the 100th anniversary of the beginning of World War I. Nobody knew it was going to begin. It just didn't, it was, but it did.
Yeah.
And so, but there's a way to avoid World War I, World War II, and World War III, and it's peace through strength. And we had a hearing this week, and I was just very, very grateful to be there with the Army Chief of Staff, General Mark Milley. And he brought to our attention at the, for the Armed Services Committee that we must have a stable budget process because training could cease. At Fort Jackson that I represent and our neighbors of Fort Gordon as soon as July if we don't have a proper funding of our military. And this is what happened prior to World War I and World War II. There was an indication of weakness that our enemies took as an invitation of aggression, and so I'm really proud of President Trump. He's indicated he wants to rebuild our military. He wants to, in the tradition of Ronald Reagan, produce peace through strength.
You were just with him about 24 hours ago
Yes.
at the White House. What's he like one-on-one? What's he like when the cameras are off?
I was really grateful. I was there for the Wounded Warrior program,
Yeah.
and it was just very humbling to me to be with people who've really almost given their lives and were willing to give their lives so that you and I have the freedoms we have. Freedom is not free. And I saw the people there, and it was a program at the White House for the Wounded Warriors, and very eloquently, the President and the First Lady Melania were there, along with Vice President Mike Pence and his wife Karen, and it was you could tell the President empathized with the young people there who have lost limbs, but the spirit was so strong. And of course, we did not know. This was Thursday morning that I was with the President, that later that evening, as he was having dinner, of all things, with the President of China, that there would be a rocket attack on the airbase in Syria. But he was very calm and but you could just tell his love and affection for the troops there.
Well,
and the military families that were there.
Well, that's spoken from the leader of a military family, Congressman. Yeah. Everybody in the Wilson household has served this nation and still does.
Thank you.
When we come back, we have a new justice on the Supreme Court. Oh, yeah, by the way, that happened too. We'll continue to talk with South Carolina Congressman Joe Wilson on the Means Report.